Welcome back to the deep dive. We sift through the sources, cut the noise, and focus on what really matters. Today, we're diving into something, well, quite inventive actually, V-Town's aquatic harvester. We've got some really interesting excerpts detailing how it works, its impact, and our job today. Unpack it all. We want to see how it operates, uncover maybe some surprising benefits, and tackle any misconceptions.
Okay, let's unpack this. So first off, the main job of this thing is pretty straightforward, right? Keeping V-Town's water clean, rivers, lakes, making sure they're navigable, free of, weeds and stuff getting in the way. And for a town that really uses its water, you can immediately see why that's valuable. But I guess my first thought was, well, how fancy can weed cutting get? What's special here?
That's fair, because it looks simple, but it's more sophisticated than just mowing the lake. It's fundamentally a mechanical harvesting system.
Yeah.
Think of maybe a big underwater lawnmower, but it's got a collection system too, like a conveyor belt. Its whole purpose is efficient collection of aquatic plants, vital for keeping those waterways maintained. Okay, efficient collection. And the source material, it mentioned something really specific about the cutting heads. They're set, what was it, 6 inches, exactly 6 inches from the lake bed. Now, when I hear a precise number like that, I think, okay, there must be a reason. Is it like gardening? Pruning for health? Or something else?
Well, that's actually a really good starting point, the gardening idea, but it's layered. What's fascinating here is that the 6-inch depth, it ties directly into legal stuff, environmental compliance.
Ah, okay.
Legal? Yeah. The source says it complies with Maine laws designed specifically to avoid churning up the bottom, the silt. And crucially, it lines up with how the Maine Department of Environmental Protection defines trimming.
Trimming?
Exactly. Trimming native plants, not removing them by the root.
Right, that seems like a key difference.
It's vital. Pulling roots can destabilize the whole lakebed substrate. It can release trapped phosphorus, which isn't good, and mess up the homes of, tiny bottom-dwelling creatures. So that 6-inch rule, it shows they're really thinking about the lake's health. Very careful stewardship.
Okay, that makes sense. So they trim it carefully. But then, what happens to all that plant matter they collect? Here's where it gets really interesting, I thought.
Yes. This is the part that's genuinely innovative. They don't just dump the collected biomass, the vegetation.
Right.
The source is explicit.
Yeah.
It's full of nutrients. And instead of treating it like waste...
They recycle it.
Exactly. They recycle it directly into compost.
Wow.
And not just any compost. Because it comes from aquatic plants, it's got this unique mix of minerals, organic material. The source actually calls it supercharged organic compost.
Supercharged. Sounds potent.
Apparently so. A really effective natural fertilizer. They use it for land crops, gardens, helps the soil.
So they're taking nutrients out of the water where they might cause issues and putting them onto land where they're beneficial.
Precisely. If we connect this to the bigger picture, it's nutrient redirection. Harnessing those nutrients for local agriculture.
Yeah.
Turning a maintenance task into, a resource generator.
That's really smart. But thinking practically,
Yeah.
does the source say anything about scale? Like, is this supercharged compost making a real dent in local farming needs, or is it more symbolic?
Good question. The sources frame it as a key part of their waste management strategy and a definite plus for local soil enrichment. They don't give us exact tonnage, no, but the emphasis is definitely on it being a valuable output.
Okay.
Suggesting it's more than just a token gesture. It's a meaningful contribution back into the local system, economy and environment.
Right, which brings us to another point. These kinds of solutions, they often bump up against existing ideas, don't they?
Yeah.
And our source addresses a pretty common misconception about mechanical harvesting. Yeah.
It does. This raises an important question, really, about perception versus reality with environmental tech.
What's the typical worry people have?
Well, the myth is often that these big machines just damage lakes and rivers, stir things up, harm wildlife.
Okay.
And maybe that comes from, confusing it with other methods like chemical treatments, which can have serious downsides.
Right, lumping them all together.
Exactly. But the source here, it firmly counters that. It says V-Town's operation shows a more accurate picture. Far from being harmful, this harvester actually benefits the environment.
How so, according to the source?
Well, first, by cleaning the waterways, obviously, removing excess vegetation, and second, by creating that valuable compost we just talked about. So it's taking a potential problem, overgrown weeds, and turning it into an environmental positive, a resource. It actively dispels that negative perception.
So let's wrap this deep dive up. What we've seen is the V-Town Aquatic Harvester isn't just, a mower for lakes. It's actually a pretty sophisticated system. It's efficient, it follows environmental rules carefully,
Mm.
and maybe the most surprising part, it ingeniously turns unwanted plants into a really valuable resource that's supercharged compost. It
Wow.
directly flips that negative assumption about mechanical harvesting on its head. It really does strike me as, well, unexpectedly clever, solving a local problem while creating a benefit, maybe even a model for elsewhere.
Absolutely. And maybe that's the thought to leave with everyone listening. How often do we look at a solution that seems on the surface kind of basic or maybe even potentially problematic? But when you dig deeper, like we did today, you find these layers, real ingenuity, positive impacts you didn't expect. It kind of challenges us, doesn't it, to question those first assumptions we make about technology, about nature, and how they interact. Maybe we should look harder for those hidden benefits, the unexpected upsides in places we might normally just dismiss.